him down.
Right now at 5, a serious crash sends one person to the hospital near Alba.
And we have a warm and sunny day in store for us today.
Plus, an alliance is advocating for improvements in Midtown Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And what kind of day is it going to be out there today? I feel like it's hot, but I know it rained yesterday.
It did. We're still waiting on things to really cool down. But today is a bit cooler than it was the other day or the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So not the upper 90s, but low 90s. It's back down to average. We can go ahead and take a look outside right now. Currently, it's in the low 70s, so a not bad start to our day. Now, as you can see, it's pretty calm winds out there, clear skies. So overall today, again, clear and looking good. High temperatures getting up to the low 90s, about 92, 93, and that's slightly above average, but still pretty close. Now, we could expect a couple of these afternoon pop-up storms, still seeing a lot of moisture in the air, and just higher temperatures just lead to a couple of those pop-up storms. But right now we're looking good. A few clouds out there in the Joplin area, but clearing past south of I-44. Now those do continue to push out of here. We have those northeasterly winds, which starting to cool us down today, but really going to take effect with those cooler temperatures as we head into Thursday and for the rest of the weekend. Now it's 1 o'clock, still seeing mostly clear skies. Again, a couple of these pop-up storms out there through the afternoon, even starting by noon, but those northeasterly breeze sticks around. Now there goes the pop-up storms just scattered across the area. We may not see any rain. Even if we do, it's going to be pretty short bursts of rain. And now here we are, 4 p.m. Still not much going on other than a couple of those pop-up storms. Now, temperatures do start to cool down even more on Thursday, getting down to the low 90s and upper 80s across the area. So Thursday's going to be a really nice day, and we have even cooler temperatures in store for us, but I'll have those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We'll see you soon. A 20-year-old Webb City man suffers moderate injuries after his pickup truck crashes through a fence Tuesday afternoon. The crash happened near Alba. The Missouri State Highway Patrol reports the single vehicle crash happened just after 1:30 at County Road 200 in Pine Road. The pickup traveled through a fence and flipped upside down about 60 to 70 feet off the roadway in a cattle field. The driver was transported to a Joplin hospital. Well, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol says they are still in the early stages of an investigation into a crash that caused the death of an Oklahoma Turnpike Association worker. The authority worker, rather. The crash, which happened earlier this week on the Will Rogers Turnpike near Miami, involved 2 OTA workers who were working on the shoulder of the interstate. A semi drifted off the roadway and struck and killed 36-year-old Zachary Reinhardt, an OTA worker who was picking up debris. The semi then struck an OTA vehicle where the other OTA employee, 25-year-old Colton Armstrong, was inside. Armstrong was taken to an area hospital with critical injuries. The semi driver, David Carlson of Whiteboro, Texas, was uninjured. Carlson told investigators he dropped a device and was trying to pick it up when he left the roadway. Well, if you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscasts live, you can just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Well, Missouri's governor appoints the state's first female attorney general. Governor Mike Kehoe named Catherine Hanaway to the position yesterday. She replaces Andrew Bailey, who is moving on to become co-deputy director of the FBI, a newly created position. Hanaway is currently a partner at a St. Louis law firm. Previously, she served as Republican Speaker of the Missouri House of Representatives. Hanaway takes over the AG role next month. Well, a newly formed nonprofit hopes to bring new life to Joplin's Midtown District. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how organizers hope to bring together both businesses and community members.
You know, we don't see quite the same foot traffic that we would see maybe downtown, but we do love the community.
If you walk down Joplin's Main Street between 10th and 20th, not only will you see dozens of businesses, but you might see a small plaque in the sidewalk telling you you're in the Midtown District. To some community members, it's a place often overlooked.
This is an important area because It is one of the most entrepreneurial friendly zones in our city. Someone can easily come to this district and with a very small amount of money start a new business. There's just so many opportunities that are available to everyday people right here in Midtown.
That's what's inspired the creation of the Midtown Joplin Alliance, which will encompass that stretch of Main Street and the surrounding 6 blocks on each side. The organization's goal is to advocate for opportunities to improve the district, promote local business there, and keep the area clean.
You know, really every part of town does deserve a champion and someone to help showcase some of the great businesses like Fred and Red's and Norma's Diner or the OK Bar that are right here in Midtown and have been staples of Joplin for a very long time. We need someone to help showcase the businesses that are happening here and the opportunities for new businesses that could happen here.
Local business owners like the one here at Zinc Coffee say they're excited about the new alliance and the opportunities it could bring to Midtown.
We're really excited about growing into that, growing our business and figuring out what Joplin needs from us. It seems like there was a lot of initiatives for downtown and specifically like everything between like maybe 1st and 7th. So I'm excited to hear that there's some stuff going on, you know, really for us in the 7th to 20th range and what we could do to kind of come together and to just be good partners with each other.
Since the announcement of the new alliance, community members and organizations have voiced their support. The Downtown Joplin Alliance shared the news, adding, quote, "This is what Joplin needs. Every neighborhood needs to put on their big boy pants and do the hard work." For those in the Midtown District, they hope to not only improve their community, but emphasize supporting small and local businesses.
This is allowing us to make sure that the money is reused inside of our community to build our people and build our town.
And then we can do things like investing into art culture and craft culture and leaning into that, making Joplin a place that people want to be instead of a place that people want to go to other places to have life and fun experiences.
Reporting in Joplin, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Now, the nonprofit organization says they've already had many community members reach out to learn more and get involved. They say the best way to do so is by following their Facebook page, Midtown Joplin Alliance. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky could meet for the first time since before the war in Ukraine began. Plus, seniors and prescription meds. There's a hidden risk of addiction, what you need to watch out for, and how to get help. Plus, extreme heat returns. Lindsay has a look at your Wednesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 5:07. We'll be right back. Well, topping Nation Watch, President Trump is drawing a red line when it comes to security guarantees for Ukraine, saying no American troops will be on the ground. Now, this comes as the White House says there are developments in President Trump's efforts to set up a meeting between the leaders of Russia and Ukraine as part of the push to end the war. CBS News' Jared Hill has more from New York.
In the push for peace, a potential place for talks, CBS News has confirmed Budapest, Hungary is among the cities being considered for what could be a historic meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
I had a very successful meeting with President Putin. I had a very successful meeting with President Zelensky, and now I thought it would be better if they met without me.
The last and only time the two leaders met face-to-face was in Paris in 2019. More than 2 years before Russia invaded Ukraine. The White House is hopeful a new sit-down might take place in the next 2 weeks.
The president wants to move, and he wants to bring this war to an end as quickly as possible.
As the Trump administration works to hammer out those details, European leaders met virtually Tuesday as they race to come up with a plan to protect Ukraine after the war. One thing that won't happen, according to President Trump, is U.S. boots on the ground.
France and Germany, a couple of them, UK, they want to have, boots on the ground. We're willing to help them with things, especially probably if you could talk about by air, because nobody has the kind of stuff we have.
Russia said in a statement that it categorically rejects the possibility of any NATO countries placing military assets inside of Ukraine. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Now, Ukraine's President Zelensky says a strong Ukrainian military is the first line of defense when it comes to security guarantees. A White House official tells CBS News that European leaders hope to have concrete details for a plan in the next 10 days. Well, still, they come from auction house treasures to award show deals to K-pop confessions. Entertainment news is buzzing the stories making headlines today. We'll take a look. Plus, Lindsay takes another look at your Wednesday forecast. We'll be right back. Well, a K-pop group is crediting a U.S. fan base for their growth in popularity, and the American Music Awards are here to stay. Christian Benavides has today's Eye on Entertainment.
He will be a sensation.
Costumes and props used in the hit TV show Downton Abbey are on display at a London auction house ahead of the release of the final Downton movie. Actress Penelope Wilton.
Well, it certainly brings back memories and very fond memories indeed. And it's also, I think it's been beautifully displayed.
The show began its 6-season TV run 15 years ago. Since then, it's had 3 big screen spin-offs, including Downton Abbey, the grand finale, which hits theaters September 12th. The auction house is accepting bids until the 16th. CBS and Dick Clark Productions have reached a deal to broadcast the American Music Awards and stream live on Paramount Plus for the next 5 years. This year's program on CBS marked the show's largest audience since 2019 and a 38% increase over its last airing on ABC in 2022. The AMAs are set to air their 52nd edition next year on Memorial Day. K-pop group IVE is crediting American fans for their international growth in a new interview.
We really love fans, and fans always give us love and support. So, yeah, we do feel a lots of strong bond between us, and yeah, literally, without them, we can't do anything.
The 6-member all-girl group is known for its hits, such as Love Dive and Afterlike. Their new album is set for release August 25th. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
All right, looks like a lot of exciting things coming up. Let's take it over now to Lindsay for a quick look at your forecast.
Well, currently starting off in the low 70s. We're having a really good start to our day. It's going to be in the low 90s today and mostly clear skies with a couple of pop-up storm chances, but I'm going to have all those details coming up. Well, it's a pretty good start to our day out there in the low 70s. You can see downtown Pittsburgh, got a few cars going by and mostly clear skies this morning. Now temperatures in Pittsburgh starting off at about 72 degrees. I believe Joplin's at 74, so a little bit warmer out in Joplin. But good visibility and light northerly winds. Not much going on today. All that green is just radar clutter, but you can see we've got a few clouds that are moving now outside of the Joplin area. As we start our morning off, it's going to be in the low to mid 70s. So again, starting off around 74, 73 degrees by about 7 a.m. to 7:30. We do have that light northerly breeze. That's going to keep us a bit cooler today and some partly cloudy skies. Now, once we get into the afternoon, temperatures do warm up to about 92, 93 degrees, staying relatively cooler compared to what we've seen the last couple of days. We still have those light northerly breeze, northeasterly breeze, but we also could see some pop-up storm chances as well. Those are not going to be very widely scattered or widespread, but could see a couple isolated, 1 or 2. Now, it's actual temperatures in the low 90s. It's going to feel like that. 92 in Joplin, 91 in Pittsburgh. Let's see, 93 in Welsh, 95 in Veneta, 97 in Grove. So a little bit warmer out there in Oklahoma, but the rest of us are staying pretty good. Now, that's today. Tomorrow, it's going to be even cooler, and it's going to feel even cooler as well. Low 90s, 91 in Joplin, 89 in Nevada, Stockton, 90 in Lockwood. So overall, the next couple of days, we're just seeing a little bit of a cooling trend as we get further into those northerly breeze and further into the weekend. Now, watching our future track, again, this is going to be in the next hour or so. Northeasterly breeze, a few clouds out there. Overall, not doing too bad. Again, could see a couple of these pop-up showers and pop-up storms. Those are normal for summertime. We've seen them for the last few days. Now, this is about 4:30, so we're expecting them in the early to mid-afternoon, clearing by about 7 to 8 p.m. As we head into Thursday morning, winds start to pick up as they're shifting a little out of the east and then out of the north, but we've got another little front that moves through that's going to bring our winds back out of the north, cooling us down again for Thursday. Now, Thursday afternoon, not getting into those pop-up storms. We are getting a few of those clouds, so a little partly cloudy. By Friday morning, we've got these southerly winds, so we do start to warm up a bit on Friday, but then we have more rain chances on Saturday starting early afternoon throughout the evening. That is going to bring our temperatures back down on Sunday. So we're warming back up to the low 90s. On Saturday, we got those isolated storms. Much cooler temps on Sunday, though, down into the upper 80s, and it stays like that through next week as well. 82 on Monday, 84 on Tuesday, 86 on Wednesday. Some more rain chances later in the week, so we're not getting as much rain as we would hope for. But that's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. 82 to start out next week. I like the sound of that. Well, there's new evidence that e-cigarettes may be a gateway for teens to try other substances and are linked to a range of health issues. University of York researchers found young people who vape are much more likely to start smoking traditional cigarettes, and that vaping also often leads to alcohol and marijuana use. In addition, this study found links between e-cigarette use and asthma and mental health concerns. Well, cancer survivors are much more likely to use antidepressants and anxiety medications. A study published in JAMA found 16% of cancer survivors reported taking anxiety medications, and 14% said they took medicine for depression. That's nearly twice the rate than people with no history of cancer. The study notes cancer survivors have a much higher rate of suicide and they need more access to mental health resources. And kids who eat more omega-3 fatty acids have a reduced risk of vision problems. A study in China found that a diet rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are commonly found in fish oils, led to lower rates of short-sightedness in kids, also known as myopia. Now, children who ate a lot of saturated fats, including those in butter and red meat, had higher rates of short-sightedness, according to the research. Well, seniors face rising risks with prescription drugs, and addiction is becoming a real concern. More older adults are seeking help than ever before. Chris Bryant dives into this growing issue.
Medications can be tricky to keep straight, especially when you have multiple prescriptions.
As seniors get older, they tend to have more chronic conditions. They tend to be on more medications to treat those chronic conditions. And the more medications you have, you get polypharmacy, you get more risk of possible interactions or causing problems.
It isn't just prescribed medications, but food and alcohol can have an effect on medications you are taking. Alcohol is the most misused substance, followed by cannabis.
Diet plays an important role in every aspect of healthcare, and taking medications and interactions with foods, beverages, alcohol, those things are no different.
The American Psychological Association says that 1 in 11 adults over 60 had a substance use disorder in 2022, with common risk factors of bereavement, forced retirement, and health problems.
So when you're looking at side effects of medicines, when you're looking at possible interactions, there's lots of different symptoms. So things like confusion, dizziness, drowsiness, unsteady walking, nausea, vomiting, upset stomach, changes in vital signs like blood pressures, either too high or too low.
Mercy Springfield says it's important to make sure you have conversations with your doctor when it comes to the medications you are taking and talk about concerns you may have.
There's always that risk anytime you're dealing with people. I think communication is key. Communication between the patients, the family members are an important part of the care team, and the physicians. And so it's important to educate the patients on how to take their medications, when to take their medications, and possible side effects of those medicines.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back with more news and weather right after this. Right now at 5:30, seniors in McDonald County High School got up at the crack of dawn for their first day of school.
And we have a really nice date in store for us today. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, Pitt State opens a part-time opportunity for some of its full-time students.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it is Wednesday, August 20th. Of course, this week, kids going back to school. Joplin School's first day is today. We'll be live later on at our 6 a.m. newscast for that. But what's it going to be looking like out there for those students?
I mean, so far, today is a normal summer day, I'd say. Pretty average. We go ahead and take a look outside right now. We've got temperatures starting in the low 70s, about 72 out there in Joplin and in Pittsburgh. Now, it feels like it's overall not too bad today. And we've also got some pretty calm winds this morning. Now, as we get into later this afternoon, temperatures are warming up to the low 90s, looking at about 91 to 93 degrees. Not too bad. Those are average temperatures for us this time of year. But we could get some afternoon pop-up thunderstorms. They're very isolated, and we're not looking at a very widespread chance for all of us, just a couple of random hit and miss storms. Now, mostly clear skies this morning, but we do have a few clouds out there. A lot of that is ground clutter from the radars. But as we continue into the rest of the day, starting by 8 a.m., those clouds do start to push out of our area. We've got mostly sunny skies and a very light northeasterly breeze. Now that's going to keep us a bit cooler today. Now again, as we go through the afternoon, you can see how those green little dots are flashing everywhere. Those are our pop-up storm chances, and they're very short-lived, so not expecting a lot of rain with that. Now this is 1 in the afternoon, still those light northeasterly breeze. Again, a couple more of those pop-up storms you can see, mainly south of I-44, but a couple of random ones here and there. This continues until about 7 p.m. today. And then we're looking for an even cooler day tomorrow. Temperatures just hitting about 90 and even staying in the upper 80s for us on Thursday. We do warm up a tad bit for the weekend, but a cooler week in store for us next week. I'll have all those details coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. We'll see you soon. Well, school started last Monday in Chautauqua, Kansas, but the town came together last night for a fun back-to-school bash. Firefighters fired up the grill, cooking hot dogs, while students from pre-K through 12th grade, their families and community members enjoyed games and activities. The First Baptist Church handed out reusable water bottles to keep everyone refreshed. Now, just because kids are back in the classroom doesn't mean the fun has to end.
This event represents how we feel about kids, that we want to include their families and that we care about them and we want what's the best for them, and that when you come to Chautauqua, you're a name, not a number.
The event also served as a fundraiser to support preschool teacher Jessica Midget, who bravely is fighting breast cancer. Well, seniors at McDonald County High School started their morning early as they watched the sunrise come up for their first day of school. Seniors met on the high school's football field, taking pictures and enjoying donuts.
They're high achievers, they're kind, they're a smart group, they're an involved group, and it's going to be a great year. I know they're going to be good leaders for us, and they're going to do a great job.
Now, in just 150 school days from now, the McDonald County High School seniors will walk across the stage during sunset at graduation. PSU held its annual community fair yesterday afternoon. The event, typically held at the start of each fall semester, enables students to meet with local companies, businesses, and organizations. Organizers say it's about showing students the value of planting roots and building futures right here in the 4 states.
Just a lot of chain situations that you run into in Pittsburgh. So we have a lot of smaller things or maybe entities that they haven't had as much personal interaction with.
There's a bunch of church groups, and that's something that I'm really interested in. So definitely happy to see that they're here.
Ton of hospitality going around. They're giving away a lot of stuff, and it's just been a lot of fun being able to get free stuff and learning more about the community.
Events like this are normally held on the campus oval. However, with construction underway, the event was relocated outside the Overman Student Center. As those students get a glimpse at Pitt State, a glimpse of their future, KOAM's Ty Parks reports the opportunity could give full-time students some part-time possibilities.
We're looking for something to fit in my schedule of classes and just help pay for all the expenses of like living here on campus and food and all that.
A part-time job can fit perfectly with a full-time student.
Yeah, a lot of students are looking for that part-time work when they're coming to campus. They need something to do in between the classes, and whether that's an on-campus job or off-campus, it just makes it nice to have one event where students can come and talk to these local employers that are looking for those part-time opportunities.
McCarthy's Bar is just one employer we spoke to that said they are perfect for the college student with limited hours.
Luckily, our hours are flexible. We're looking for just anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week availability. We're not open on Sundays, so there's a day off that no work and no school. Obviously, they can take care of their schooling.
Sometimes a part-time job can be a stepping stone to the full-time career.
Hope that those opportunities do transfer into something long-term, and I know employers are seeking out those as well. It all just depends on what the company is looking for, whether that's just a part-time position or it is something that could potentially transition into full-time, but there's always opportunities for that.
This is another way PSU paves the way for success for its students.
I think that's really good. It'd be really hard for students to get full-time in with all the classes and everything, so.
In Pittsburgh, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The university hosts various job fairs for both students and the community throughout the year. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The FDA issues an urgent warning about a popular frozen food sold at Walmart. Plus, the Powerball jackpot reaches its highest amount of the year so far. We'll have the latest time now, 5:36. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In Consumer Watch, it's official. The White House has launched a TikTok account. The move comes less than a month before President Trump's latest extension for the social media app to find a new owner or face a U.S. ban expires. Now, the same day the White House account went online, Minnesota announced it is suing TikTok, accusing it of preying on young people using deceptive and manipulative practices. A TikTok spokesperson says the lawsuit is based on misleading and inaccurate claims, adding that the company has voluntarily implemented robust safety measures. And the FDA is warning Americans not to eat certain batches of Walmart's Great Value brand frozen shrimp because they could be contaminated with a radioactive isotope. The shrimp was imported from an Indonesia-based company and sold by Walmart stores in more than a dozen states. Walmart has issued a recall and says the affected products have been removed from shelves. Customers are urged to throw the product away and to contact the place of purchase for a full refund. And the Powerball jackpot has grown to more than $640 million, its highest amount of the year so far. Now, players can take a shot at winning the prize in tonight's drawing for the prize of a $2 ticket. Now, the estimated cash value of the jackpot is over $290 million. And that's a look at Consumer Watch this morning. Let's take it over to Lindsay for another look at your forecast.
Well, so far out there, temperatures are still in the lower 70s. We're really not going to warm up until that sun comes back up. So far, starting, average. Not doing too bad out there. We do have a few clouds, but overall, mostly clear skies today. And as you can see, those temperatures are warming up over the next couple of hours, just in time for school to start, to about mid-70s, 74, maybe even up to 75. And we could see a couple more pop-up storm chances later this afternoon. I'll have those details coming up.
Well, once you lose tooth enamel, it can't regrow, but researchers say one solution may be human hair. We have the details in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. The Pro Farmer Crop Tour has kicked off. And day one, scouts in Ohio found a corn yield of 185.69. That's up slightly over last year. For soybeans, yields could be up almost 5%. Now in the west in South Dakota, scouts found nearly record yield potential for the state's corn crop, forecasting an average of 174.18 bushels to the acre, which would be 11% higher than last year. For soybeans, another possible record in the making, 15% higher than a year ago. Look for day 2 results from Indiana and Nebraska to be unveiled tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time on agweb.com. USDA says it will no longer support solar and wind projects on productive farmland. Ag Secretary Brooke Rollins making the announcement at the Tennessee State Fair, saying the destruction of farms and prime soil is taking away the futures of the next generation of farmers. USDA has provided more than $2 billion in the past for renewable energy projects. And researchers in London have developed a dental treatment using keratin, a protein found in hair, skin, and wool that they say can repair damaged tooth enamel. Enamel cannot regenerate once eroded by acidic foods, poor hygiene, or aging. One researcher says keratin-based dental products like toothpaste and gels could become available to consumers within 2 to 3 years. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Well, now let's take it over to Lindsay for a full look at your forecast.
Well, it is a pretty nice start to our day. We've got some partly cloudy skies out there, but overall not doing too shabby this morning. Now temperatures are in the lower 70s for us. It's about average where we should be this time of year, maybe a little bit warmer. As the time starts about 7 to 7:30 when school starts and kids are off to school, it's about 74 degrees, light northeasterly breeze, and some partly cloudy skies. But as we're getting there into the evening, early afternoon and evening, 92 degrees, so that's going to be our high for the day. It is a little bit above average, just a couple of degrees, so not too bad. Definitely cooler than what we've seen for the last couple of days. But we also have some isolated pop-up storm chances. Now, although temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler today in the low 90s, for the most of us, it's going to feel like that, but out in Oklahoma, it's still feeling a little bit warmer. 97 in Newada, 96 in Bonita and Grove. But the rest of us, our feels like temperature, which is our heat index, matches what our actual temperature is. Same goes for Thursday as well. Even a little bit cooler, 88 in Lockwood, Lamar, 89 in Carthage, 87 in Nevada and Stockton, but you can see about 90 in Joplin, 89 in Pittsburgh. So this is for Thursday afternoon. Not doing too bad. Next couple of days, we're going to be a little bit cooler. We warm right back up on Friday, and I'll show you why. So Wednesday, we've got these northeasterly breeze bringing in a cooler air into the area. Could get those pop-up thunderstorms, a lot of moisture still in the region, so we do still see a lot of lift, and that just causes those pop-up thunderstorms that we see in the summertime. Now, as we start Thursday morning, stronger winds out of the east, so winds are trying to push out of the east, trying to shift, but they move right back out of the north as we start by Thursday afternoon. We're not seeing some pop-up storm chances Thursday, but we are seeing just partly cloudy skies. Now, by Friday, winds pick back up out of the south, so we are going to see a little bit of a warm up on Friday and Saturday back into the low mid 90s, and then Saturday we're going to be in the low 90s as well. But Saturday we have another front that's moving through, so you can see where our rain chances are moving in out of the northwest, and those winds are shifting out of the north, and this is going to be throughout the early afternoon on Friday until late afternoon, and we get those northerly winds Saturday afternoon and into overnight Saturday, so it's going to cool us back down by Sunday into the upper 80s, and that's really below where we should be this time of year. Typically we're seeing temperatures about 90, maybe even 91, so we are going to see a much cooler end of our weekend and week thanks to another cold front on Saturday that is just going to drop our temperatures even further. 87 on Sunday, 82 on Monday, 84 on Tuesday, and we stick around in the 80s for the rest of the week. Now we are getting to the end of August, so this is typical what we're going to start to see over the next couple of weeks. Our temperatures staying closer to the upper 80s and low 90s than what we've seen in the upper 90s. Now that's a look at your forecast. Let's go over to Elise.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, in sports this morning, the Pitt State volleyball squad opened their preseason practices last week, ushering in a new era under head coach Megan Bessecker. Now, the coach replaces Jen Gomez, who spent the last 9 seasons leading the program, and with the regular season rapidly approaching, the Gorillas are embracing intense and competitive practices with every player on the roster fighting for their role.
We have a big roster, so practices will be really competitive. We'll run very high tempo practices, and we have a lot of new faces, so just getting to know each other a little bit more and playing to all of our strengths. Everyone's competing for a spot, and it makes practices a lot of fun.
Having that many people in each position is a great thing, honestly, but it makes it like we can push each other and people aren't content in their spot. The intensity, again, is just way higher, and you're pushing each other nonstop.
The Gorillas will host their red versus gold scrimmage next Saturday on August 30th before opening their season at home on September 5th against Lubbock Christian in the Pitt State Classic. Well, there won't be any Friday night lights at Springfield's oldest high school stadium this fall. That's because Central High School will not be competing on the varsity level. Emma McDarris talks to the district's athletic director and football player about the decision.
Woke up at 6 in the morning, went to football, then had a 10-minute break in between, went home, got food, then went to work, then went right back to football, and I barely saw my family. You know, my siblings, they're about 2 years old, so they go to bed really early. And that was all summer because I was committed to this. You know, I had an urge for it, you know, and I love my team.
David Bitak is a senior football player at Central High School who says he feels betrayed with SPS's decision to cancel the Bulldogs varsity season.
AD of Central came last minute and told us that we're not allowed to play varsity season because lack of upperclassmen and because safety concerns, which he was only there for 4 practices for 10 minutes. So we feel like he really didn't even get to see the whole picture. And we feel disrespected as a team and as a school too, because he didn't even give us a chance. And you know, that's our administrator and they're supposed to be behind us. So we feel really betrayed on that part.
The athletic director for Springfield Public Schools, Josh Scott, says part of his duty is to make sure students are playing against teams with similar age and skill level.
Looking at the realistic situation of, are we going to have freshmen, and that's 14-year-old boys to play against 17-year-old young men, and we thought the best way to build the program and have a football program in the future was to build them up through a JV schedule and have our freshmen, juniors, and our sophomores play together, and then hope to talk to our opponents to give our seniors the ability to play also so that they could still play football their senior year. It would just be at the JV level.
Scott says the players will still be able to grow in their skills and as a team.
They still have an opportunity to be a part of Bulldog football family, and they still have an opportunity to make our school better and how they act and interact within the schools on a daily basis. This is not a decision that anyone wanted to make, but with the numbers and safety purposes, it's a decision that we had to make.
That's a look at sports this morning. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, Wrightsville Beach Ocean Rescue conducted over 10 rescues on Tuesday despite a no swimming advisory in effect through Friday. Dangerous rip currents from Hurricane Erin prompted the warning, but officials say some beachgoers ignored the risk. Rescue crews remain on high alert as conditions continue to be hazardous. Well, a shark fishing trip in Boca Grande, Florida took a dangerous turn when an angler was bitten while posing with his catch. Sean Muse was taken to the hospital after a 6-foot lemon shark clamped down on his leg moments before release. Despite the bite, Muse says he's ready to fish again, calling himself one of the fortunate ones.
And temperatures today starting off in the mid-70s, but getting up into the low 90s. We do have a chance for a couple of pop-up storms. Now, temperatures tomorrow are going to be even cooler in the upper 80s to low 90s. Mostly sunny all day long. May see a few clouds out there, but overall the next couple of days are going to be much cooler. Now we do have another front coming through on Saturday that is going to see temperatures dropping back down into the 80s. I'll have all that coming up.